Hello, my name is Dickerson of the Dickerson Bluegrass Guitar Show. I'm here at the Dickerson University in Granville, Ohio, and I'm here with a legendary guitar player who played for Bill Monroe for many years, for 10 years, from 1986 to 1996, and also worked for Bluegrass Unlimited. And be sure to check out his book, Bill Monroe, The Live Music of the Bluegrass Man, one and only Tom Ewing. It's good to have you, Tom.
Good to be here.
How do you like it here at Dickerson University?
It's very beautiful. Very beautiful.
And let's talk about your book. I know you said, I asked you a question at the Q&A. What inspired you to write this book?
I wanted to tell people how complicated Bill's life was, and I tried to convey that and cover all the bases of his activities from his birth through his last days on Earth.
And you, tell me where you're from originally.
Columbus, Ohio.
And how did you go into bluegrass?
I happened to hear bluegrass when I was collecting recordings of folk music. And on one of the folk music albums, there was a sample or two of bluegrass by a band called the Greenbrier Boys. And it absolutely knocked me out. I wore out that part of the record.
And you had a bluegrass band and you played with Jeff and his dad, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of that group?
Well, let's see. What did we call that? It's been so long I can't remember. I think it was, for a while there, it was New Ground, one word.
New Ground? And how long was that group?
Not long enough.
How long enough?
Maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And you auditioned for Mr. Bill Monroe in 1974.
Yeah.
And you got the job in 1986. What was it like to audition for the guy who created our music?
Well, it was pretty exciting at the time when I was a younger man to be in close proximity with Bill Monroe and to know that I was going to try to do my best to impress him with my knowledge. So I sang some songs that he wrote, and it was a successful audition, and 12 years later he called me.
And you got to play with him for 10 years. And you got to be on, after with Bill Monroe, you got to be working with Bluegrass Unlimited. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What was it like?
Well, I think they contacted me. Neil Rosenberg wrote a column for Bluegrass Unlimited called 30 Years Ago. He would tell about things that were happening in bluegrass 30 years prior to when the issue of Bluegrass Unlimited came out. And he did that for several years, and his teaching duties at the university where he taught got to be an overload, so he called and asked me if I wanted to take over the columns. At first I said no, because I was working with Bill at the time, and I didn't think I'd have time to research and write the column, but then I thought about it, changed my mind, called him back, told him I'd do it. So it became a monthly challenge to present an interesting column every month for about 12 years.
And you got a CD out as well. What's the name of the CD?
Well, my most recent one is called Adventures of a Bluegrass Boy.
And you wrote a song you talked about on the Q&A as well. What was the name of that song?
I'm not sure which one you're asking.
I think about Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like to write that song?
Oh gosh, I saw other people, mainly Bill, writing, and I thought I'd try to emulate him in that way. And when the spirit moved me, I started writing. That particular song came to me while I was driving home to Ohio from Nashville.
And you have, what type of guitar did you play for Bill Monroe?
I have a D28.
A D28? It's like this one almost?
Yeah, this is a D18, a brand new one that
wanna
I
show-
borrowed.
Oh, this is not yours?
No, this is not mine. Unfortunately, if he forgets about it, it might be mine. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that.
Uh,
Yeah, you had a band named Tom Ewing and Friends?
yes, sir. It's evolved into Tom Ewing and the Buckeye Buddies.
And the Buckeye Buddies? That's really cool. How long you been playing with that band?
Oh, a couple of years.
Couple of years?
Since I moved back to Ohio. I lived in Kentucky for about 12 years, Evan. Did a lot of research there about Bill's early days
And
while I was writing the book.
And one of the things you wrote in the book was his last words, right? Was his last words of Bill Monroe?
The last words of Bill Monroe?
Yeah.
Well, the last days of his life, yeah.
What was it? What was one of the words he said in the book?
Well, there are quite a few of his words in the book. You just have to read it.
Yeah, be sure to check it out. Bill Monroe, the live, the music of the Bluegrass Man. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
And be sure to check Tom out at any place you guys see him at.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Tom. I'm Evan Dickerson from the Dickerson Bluegrass Talk Show at the live from Dickerson University in Granville, Ohio. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
See you later.